Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel. Cayman's bigger, better network. And March for Jesus. 18th of May. Visit christian.ky for more information. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
For the Record. 1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd day of May 2024, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure you observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. If you observe the rules of the road, then, folks, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a belated happy birthday, whichever is applicable. Those of you who lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we do wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us. Toll-free number is still not working, so you want to call us at 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261 as well. We're also on Facebook, and you subscribe to Radio Cayman live stream to follow us on YouTube as well. So hopefully you'll be able to get through to us at the 8:15 juncture. Once the 8 o'clock news is over, we will have in the studio with us this morning the leader of the opposition and his deputy. I would suggest that if you have any questions or observations, you may want to send them in advance to us, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. That will make things run much smoother if I'm able to incorporate your questions or your comments into the discussion with the leader of the opposition and his deputy. Meanwhile, we do have the birthday shout-outs, and those of you who listen to the Business Buzz in the morning, I've been guest hosting for a while, and I had to ensure that I kept reminding myself there are no birthday shout-outs during the business buzz, because I almost wanted to do that because there were a few birthday shout-outs that I missed last week, one in particular, and I wanted to ensure that I covered it, today. So Mr. Alan Ebanks, right up there in East End, he celebrated his birthday last week, Wednesday. He was 72 years of age, and we want to wish him a belated happy birthday as well. And those of you who know the history of Radio Cayman know that Mr. Alan Ebanks at one point in time was also an announcer right here on Radio Cayman. So we want to wish him a happy birthday, and special happy birthday greetings going out not only from the people of East End, but from his good friend, Mr. Steve Dodds, the bicycle doctor who is over in Bloomington, Indiana as well. Then we have another belated birthday greeting, and that one is going out to Mr. Alcott Gold. He celebrated his birthday yesterday, and birthday greetings are coming from his sisters, Lisa and Judy, and the children and the rest of his family, as well. Mr. Alcott Gold, belated happy birthday going out to him as well. Then we have Mr. Brandon Moxham, who's in the UK. He's 29 years of age today, and birthday greetings are coming from his grandma, Miss Phyllis Moxham. Also today, Miss Jane Ramon is celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday greetings coming from Ruth, James, and family. Of course, Miss Jane Ramon, living in the Scranton area there. The baton was passed on to her once her mother, Miss Frances Ramon, passed away. So Miss Jane Ramon is the matriarch of the Scranton area as well. So we want to wish her a happy birthday today, coming from us here at Radio Cayman, and for all of the people in Scranton as well as the entire Cayman Islands as well. The matriarch of Scranton, Miss Jane Ramon. Let's look at other birthday greetings. Have several of them, and I'm going to make sure I don't miss any. If you have any that you want to send, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. Today, Jesse Albalat is celebrating a birthday. Also, Mr. Lance Jefferson celebrating a birthday today. Tomorrow, happy birthday greetings going out to Miss Juanita Whitaker Maxwell, as well as Lana Green celebrating birthdays tomorrow as well. And of course, folks, these birthday shout-outs would not have been possible without the sponsorship of Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto. Superior Auto, they keep your car in tune. Call them at 949-9570 or 525-9571. With that, we're going to take our first commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Sir John Alfred Cumber, KB, CMG, MBE, TD, 1920 to 1991. Sir John Alfred Cumber was the administrator of the Cayman Islands from 1964 to 1968. During his tenure, he started the primary school construction program and the Chamber of Commerce. was responsible for Cable and Wireless and Caribbean Utilities Company entering the Cayman utility market and introduced mosquito control with the services of Dr. Marco Giglioli. He was responsible for the introduction of the company's law and the trust law. Under his watch, the Owen Roberts Airfield was asphalted and upgraded. The results of these initiatives are the present-day tourism sector and the offshore banking sector of the Cayman Islands economy. He was married to the former Margaret Ann Tripp, and the couple had 2 children.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation's signature gala, Saturday, May 25th, Marriott Beach Resort. Exploring and developing, implementing suicide prevention, mental health resolution focused on children and young people in our community. Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Alex Panton Foundation Gala, supported by Rotary Central. Get your tickets now. ally.spears@outlook.com. That's ALLY.SPEIRS@outlook.com. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio. After the 8 o'clock news, 8:15, we will have the Leader of the Opposition and his deputy, Honourable Roy McTaggart, and MLA Mr. Joey Hugh. Meanwhile, we still have a few more birthday greetings that I need to put out there. Miss Talisha Galbraith, known as Ty Galbraith, celebrating her birthday today. Want to wish her a happy birthday as well, coming from the entire family as well. Her mom Lisa, her father Johnny Galbraith, Marlene Galbraith, grandfather, grandmother as well, sister Hannah. Happy birthday greetings going out to Miss Talisha Galbraith. Also, birthday greetings going out to Theo Brown. Happy belated birthday. His birthday was on Monday, and these birthday greetings are coming from his father, Kendrick, and the rest of the family. And they all wish him God's richest blessings as well. So Miss Ty Galbraith as for today, and Mr. Theo Brown, belated happy birthday for yesterday as well. You heard the historical vignette featuring the administrator, Mr. J.A. Cumber, and I thought that I would splice this right into it, and it is extremely timely because this is from the Tradewinds newspaper published on the 26th of May, 1966. That would make it, 58 years to date. Administrator sends protest to Castro. That's Fidel Castro in Cuba. And the article says, His Honor, the Administrator J.A. Cumber announced on Saturday, May 21st, 1966, that he had issued a protest to Fidel Castro through the Secretary of State in Jamaica concerning the violation of Cayman airspace last week by 3 Cuban MiGs. They were called MiGs those days, that acronym MiG. The presence of the MiGs has not yet been officially verified, but observers at Owen Roberts airfield and members of the government described the jets as Cuban MiGs. It is a violation of Cayman airspace for such flights to enter within the 3-mile limit of these shores, according to international laws. According to Mr. Cumber, this is not the first instance of such a violation. It has been necessary in the past to protest to Premier Castro, and on at least one occasion, an apology was forthcoming. So the apology was forthcoming. It doesn't say if it was actually received, but obviously the Cuban government indicated that they would issue an apology. It is theorized by the government that such flights are in fact not mistakes, but rather surveillance flights of Cuban refugees landing here by ship. They always seem to occur when a new shipload of refugees arrive here, usually at Cayman Brac. Government sources said that 28 refugees left last week and 3 more arrived just prior to the jet flyover. The result of this government protest will be announced in due course, said Mr. Cumber. So here we had an administrator who took these flights seriously, registered his complaint to the Cuban government through the Secretary of State, and it was extremely interesting. Nowadays, and I can't comment, I won't comment too much, I won't say anything other than the fact that, as far as the flow of migrants, that continues today. I will say no more than that. The pattern is, quite similar. Interesting that they were referred to as refugees, at that point in time. Now, some people refer to them as migrants and other things, but that is what occurred then. But we had an administrator who took things extremely serious. And again, it goes to show you the existential threat that is out there, as far as Cuba is concerned, or at that point in time when you had, more, Cuban aggression. And don't forget that was 1966, 7 years after Fidel Castro assumed power in Cuba as well. Okay, let's look at some of the things that are taking place. This is an interesting article in the Compass today as well. And I, of course, plan on raising this with the leader of the opposition and his deputy. So this article is about the surging cost of living prompts fears of a recruitment crisis. So businesses are fearful of the crisis of recruitment, the difficulties in recruiting people to come to the Cayman Islands because of the high cost of living. Well, let me say something. They're concerned about those who want to come here and work. What about us poor folks who have no other place to go? This is home to us. Shouldn't the thought about the high cost of living be focused more on who are here as opposed to who wants to come here or who you want to come here? What about the indigenous population, of the Cayman Islands? What about their families as well? No, you're more concerned about your ability to recruit people. We understand that is, necessary because of so many businesses operating in the Cayman Islands. But to me, the focus, again, should be more on who are here, not who wants to come here as well. And I may as well just put this into the mix at the same time. If it is so, I shouldn't say if, we know that it is, the cost of living is high, it is expensive to live in the Cayman Islands, then we have to look at what the legal requirements will be for the head of household and any other person in that family who's on a work permit to live in the Cayman Islands and have dependents reside with them as well. We see the pressures in this article. It talks about the pressures of recruiting not only in all sectors of our economy, teachers, nurses, everyone, the difficulties. So that's something to talk about, the cost of living, but not the focus being on those who want to come here and work, but those who are here, and this is the only place that they have to call home. Folks, with that, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. For the record, will return immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now is 8 o'clock, brought to you with the kind compliments of Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Anastasio Rankin, in custody at Northward, was presented in summary court on Tuesday on burglary charges. The court noticed the absence of legal aid approval, and his attorney requested a postponement until June 4th. Mr. Rankin will stay in custody until then. In other court news, Darren Ian Goodall also appeared in court on Tuesday facing charges of possession with intent to distribute cocaine and ecstasy and charges of illegal firearm possession. His case was delayed due to a pending joint charge application with no updates provided. The hearing was rescheduled for next week by the magistrate, and Mr. Goodall will remain in custody until that time. In other news, is a packed agenda for today's Central Planning Authority meeting. Appearances of note scheduled to include an application for a beach kitchen and cabana on Boddentown Road. This was last before the board in February when it was adjourned to give the applicant a chance to address, quote, potential adverse effects, as well as to explain the purpose of the kitchen, as in is it a restaurant. The area is currently zoned beach resort residential. Micros Ltd. is slated to return today after their May 8th adjournment, speaking to their pitch for 27 apartments, a pool, and rooftop hot tubs on Clipper Bay and West Bay. This is facing public objections. The board is also set to discuss the $20 million Jarl Towers application for a mixed-use building with 20 apartments, 10 retail units, and a rooftop pool on Earth Close in West Bay. There's also a proposal for a new seawall and pipeline replacement at the existing home gas property. On this particular matter, the DOE is suggesting that the CPA apply for approval from the National Conservation Council before making a decision. Finally, Meals on Wheels' application for a community center is up for consideration today as well. The $1.1 million building is set for Durham Drive in Georgetown. The organization provides free hot, nutritious meals to between 330 and 350 seniors, homebound and the disabled, Monday to Friday. Meals on Wheels has been fundraising for years to support a purpose-built facility for its main kitchen and operations. You can find the full agenda for today's public meeting at planning.ky. And Cayman Art Week returns tonight for its third year. Here's CIDTV's Takia Smith.
Cayman Art Week is a week-long curated program of gallery tours and open studios held annually and designed to celebrate and encourage the collection of art in the Cayman Islands. Offering access to almost 50 art venues, it provides a single platform to showcase a range of discussions, pop-up interventions, and exhibitions to local and international audiences. For the full schedule of events, visit the official website, caymanartweek.com.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News. Norway, Spain and Ireland have announced they will formally recognise Palestine as a state next week. The Spanish Prime Minister said his Israeli counterpart was putting the two-state solution at risk with what he called his policy of pain and destruction in Gaza. In response, Israel has withdrawn its ambassadors to the three countries. Hamas and the Palestinian Authority have welcomed their move. Russia says its forces have captured another village in the Donetsk region of Ukraine in their slow advance westward. Klishchiivka lies southwest of Bakhmut, the site of one of the war's bloodiest and longest battles. The German far-right party AfD has banned its controversial lead candidate from EU election events. This follows a series of statements by Maximilian Krah. In the latest, he said members of the Nazi SS weren't necessarily criminals. China has imposed tit-for-tat sanctions on a dozen American defense firms in response to U.S. weapons sales to Taiwan and U.S. sanctions on Chinese companies. The firm's executives were also named on the sanctions list. A big fire has broken out at the Danish pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk. The blaze started in a shed and spread to a nearby office building. Fire officials warn other parts of the complex could be in danger. The former head of Britain's post office has broken down in tears during questioning at an inquiry into what's been described as the country's biggest miscarriage of justice. Hundreds of post office managers were wrongfully prosecuted for theft because of faulty accounting software. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Research has shown that worldwide, women have unique barriers to accessing health care. But what's the situation in Cayman? We want to know. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Attention Bordentown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Bordentown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 20th to 25th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it is easily accessible to the DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Bordentown Bulk Waste Collection from May 20th to 25th, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 86 degrees. Relative humidity is 84%. The barometric pressure is 29.90 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 9 knots. Overnight low temperature was 82 degrees. Synopsis indicate a deep layered upper level trough centered over the Western Caribbean, accompanied with light easterly winds, will provide slight increase in the chance of showers over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. Satellite images show a few low-level clouds over the Cayman area. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times, with a 40% chance of showers, especially for the sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Temperatures today will be in the low 90s, with the heat index near 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate, with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, becoming cloudy at times, with a 30% chance of late-night showers, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate, with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're presently at a high tide, and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 2:46, and a high tide again tonight at 9:53. The sun will set this evening at 6:55 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:49. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in a chance of showers from Thursday morning as the upper level trough moves east of the Cayman area. That's the very latest on your weather report.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. So I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britgay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britgay, where people come first.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of Environment has worked to protect and conserve the unique plants, animals, and habitats that make the Cayman Islands so special. Learn more at conservation.ky.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the traffic situation coming from the east. On Shamrock Road, traffic is flowing moderately further up. And as you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is steady. Steady traffic on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road is light to moderate. Slow moving, but nothing to worry about too much on Edward Street. Out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, looking pretty good. And into Georgetown on Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic. As we turn our eyes to the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions, and traffic flowing at a good pace coming from the West Bay four-way stop, and slow-moving traffic coming off of the Esterly-Tibbetts Highway. And continuing on to North Sound Road, traffic is steady but flowing, and moderate flow of traffic heading towards the Industrial Park area. No issues on Owen Roberts Drive. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing moderately. And that's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shannon Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tangs, both locations: stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers. New service now available at Funky Tangs, computer and cell phone repairs. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Now available at Funky Tangs. LG mini split inverter air conditioners, indoor and outdoor 19-SEER units. Regular price 598.95 CI. Now reduced to 549 CI.
The 23rd Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Tranquility, is here. Presented by the New Self-Help Foundation, Sunday, June 30th at the Harkwell Theater. Awesome performances by Rico Rolando.
Here we go again, there's something in this water.
Dream Chasers, Radiance Dance Studio, UCCI Dance Company, Centerpoint Dance Studio, Cayman National Dance Company, and more. Hosted by Anika Connolly and Lloyd Barker. Part of the proceeds from the Talent Exposition will go to support the training program of the arts. Tickets are available from the #1 shoe shop and Winner's Circle Sports. Prepaid tickets $15 or $20 at the gate. The 2024 Talent Exposition of the Arts, Tranquility, Sunday, 30th June at the Harkwell Theater. Gates open at 5. Show starts at 6. Get your tickets today.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy, with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governors Square, where they care about my health.
If you're a parent, you know that providing your child with a quality early childhood education can be expensive. However, the Ministry of Education offers financial assistance through its Early Childhood Assistance Program to help qualifying Caymanian families cover the costs at registered early childhood settings. Visit our online application portal at moeapplications.gov.ky to learn more and get started. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I introduce my guest in the studio this morning, we have a belated happy birthday greeting going out to Pastor Marjorie Wilson, and her birthday was yesterday, and the members of the Mount Calvary Deliverance Church of God, they are sending belated happy birthday greetings to Pastor Marjorie Wilson. That's the Mount Calvary Deliverance Church of God as well. So, folks, like I told you earlier, this morning we were going to have in the studio with us this morning, and we do have in the studio Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, his Deputy and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. I have encouraged you, if you have any comments, questions, please send them into our WhatsApp number 925-3261. That will avoid you having to stay on the phone lines and waiting for an opportunity. If you send in your questions or comments, then I am able to intersperse that, with the conversation. Usually I get that opportunity when we're going to a commercial break or when we're returning from a commercial break. That's when I usually, have the mic, and I take that opportunity, to say what I want to say or what you may have written in as well. So without any further ado, gentlemen, good morning. It's been a while. Welcome back to For the Record.
It has been a while, OC, and good morning to you. Good morning to Cayman. Delighted to welcome to and say good morning to all of our listeners this morning. Glad to be back with you on this show. And looking forward to the time when we'll be here.
Okay, Mr. Hugh.
Good morning to the listening public. And yes, it's good to be back and here on the show with you. And just asking everyone to remain safe, take your time on the roads. And I'm shouting out to anyone out there that knows a good rain dance, if they could do a little dancing for me. My wife accused me this morning. She goes, "You got to find something else to talk about than rain because it ain't coming."
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, and I was looking at one of the overseas territories, and of course the Eastern Caribbean, everything is so dry, and how much we're focusing now, or how much we should be focusing on the type of agriculture and the type of plants that are more resistant, are more resistant to the heat and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we should, and it's the Israelis have proven that you can grow produce and products in the desert, and I know Jamaica has embarked in quite a few large-scale projects using Israeli technology, and are doing quite well with it. So it is something we certainly have to look at. Even when, as backyard gardeners, it's if tomato season. I'm fortunate enough to still have a few tomatoes on the trees, and I painstakingly went through research to find a tomato that was developed in 1972, in fact, at the Florida State University to withstand temperatures in the 90s. And so it's, you can't just, the weather patterns have changed so much, you can't just rely on the things we used to grow and how we grew them.
That's so true. That is so true.
And if I could have just said, you talked about the absence of rain, and I was sitting here thinking, OC, just how fortunate we are to have two water utilities in this country. Can you imagine if we had to rely on our cisterns like we did in 60s, 70s, anything in previous to the 80s? We would be in some serious trouble because our water lenses would be, I think, vastly depleted as well. So it's, we are very fortunate and ought to count our blessings to have them, that we really don't have any issue with water just for our normal everyday use. It's for the plants and everything else that we need rainfall right now for.
Yeah. And speaking about the groundwater, it is so important that we try to preserve that. And
Yes.
and when you see entities like the Department of Environment expressing their concerns about development in certain areas where that you are likely, there's a strong likelihood that development will affect the quality of the water in those lands.
Yes.
That we have to listen to them, and we have to be concerned about it.
And I couldn't agree with you more on that, OC. Just very important, and that those lenses do be preserved.
Yeah. Well, there's so much on the table. We have we can talk about tourism. There's been news about the Barbados flights as well, cost of living, so much to talk about. The Parliament will meet sometime in June, I believe.
Yes.
We can talk about the whether or not the Electoral Boundaries Commission report will be tabled in our legislature, in our Parliament. What are the possibilities of any change is being made by the next election next year? So many things to talk about.
Yeah, we do. And the progressives, and I have released several public statements with regard to some of the things you actually mentioned, OC. So, I mean, it would be, we can start with some of those things that we, like you, we've got plenty. We agree with you that there's plenty to talk about. Yes. And, I'll just maybe kick it off with the Cayman Airways issue. I wouldn't call it an issue. The ceasing of the routes to Barbados. And I think I'd say this personally. I welcomed it because I I couldn't see how it was going to work. Yes, we had a guarantee from this tourism entity in Barbados to cover the operational costs up to the point of break even.
Mm-hmm.
But there was never ever a chance that that route could be profitable. There just isn't the business there to be able to develop it to that point. And I recall one of the strong selling points that the minister made at the time was that we would get all this, there's an opportunity there for us to attract tourists who were going down to Barbados from Europe to come over, to pick up the flight to come over here. And again, that was proved to be pie in the sky as far as I'm concerned. Because I don't know, we never heard it. We had a single person or visitor to do just that. And I think somewhere along the line we lost sight of just how much connectivity we have just an hour to the north of us in Miami to bring passengers into Cayman. You can get to anywhere in the world you want to go to. Anybody wanting to come to Cayman, Miami is an ideal gateway, and Miami right now has record number of cities and countries that are serving it with air service, and they're getting more lift and more passenger routes and airlines coming in and out. I mean, every time I go through Miami, you see that there's a new airline servicing it, and you want to get to the Middle East, yeah, Emirates is flying. Not Etihad, but Qatar is flying. You've got Finnair coming in out of Finland. Swiss is flying. I mean, all over, anywhere you want to go to, and Lord knows, at least a dozen flights to the UK every day out of there. So, it's to me, it was something that was not going, and it going to work. And I'm reminded of former Minister of Tourism, Mr. Kirkconnell, a statement he made in the House when we were discussing it, and he said, what you really need to do, the fact that they were carrying so few passengers, made a statement that we have to really reevaluate the route and whether it makes sense, and could we put that aircraft in that time to much better usage, because it involved staging the flights over 2 days. You went down one evening, overnighted, and came out the next morning to connect with the flight to Los Angeles. And Cayman Airways is, as we have always said, used by us to build, support, and grow our tourism product. And that was not something that was going to ever materialize in significant growth to our tourism product. So I can only say I was happy to see it being canceled, and it appeared to me that it was the impetus for the cancellation came from the Bermuda, from the Barbados side.
Yes.
That they're the ones that instigated it, and as I think about it, I don't know what the numbers are, but the amount of money that they're having to pay Cayman Airways must be quite significant. When I've heard that they were guaranteeing them a minimum load factor of 60%. And we were running a load factor of maybe 15, at the most 20%. It's substantial sums of money, I think, that are owed, and that will be something I think we in the opposition are certainly going to be questioning. Is how much really was Barbados having to pay us, and have they been getting the money? Because that would be quite critical to the overall equation. Is whether they are up to date with their payments and stuff like that. So those are things that I think we want to do, and I hope that the government, we are going to be asking the questions in Parliament in June, and we hope that the government will be forthcoming and transparent with it, and share the information. There's no reason that they ought to be claiming commercial privilege or anything special about it. It's not anymore, and it never was really. So I'm hoping that we'll get some real answers to the issues at hand with regard to the operation of the flights to Barbados. And of interest too to me will be whether that second flight to Los Angeles will remain in place. Personally, I think it's essential in order to grow that market. One flight a week does not optimize your ability to grow a route like that. And I'm hoping that they will continue, but that remains to be seen whether they do so or not.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. I want to remind our listeners out there, right now the phone lines are closed. If you have any questions or comments, please WhatsApp us 925-3261. Send your messages in. If you're really serious about what you want to say or what you want to ask, then that right now is the best way to do it until and unless we open the phone lines later on. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy to understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Research has shown that worldwide, women have unique barriers to accessing health care. But what's the situation in Cayman? We want to know. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by
Cayman Airways. Call them at 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Superior Auto Center. Do it right the first time with Superior Auto.
949-9570
or 525-9571.
Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune.
And Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Welcome back to For the Record. Our guest in the studio this morning, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, and his Deputy and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. One of our listeners wanted to know whether or not you think that this crazy overdevelopment has any impact on the reduction of our average rainfall.
I don't. I would have to say perhaps if you're talking about the reduction in foliage and that precipitation, the light rains. Mm-hmm. But I think it is a global issue that our weather patterns have changed. Our weather patterns changed decades ago. Growing up, being around my brother-in-law, Paul, Bodden, a cattle farmer, in the days when they used to burn grass peas to get rid of the maiden plum and stuff. Mm-hmm. I always just remember the farmers talking about the months, the April rains moving to the May rains. Mm-hmm. So we've seen this change in weather patterns over decades. But again, it's something I think globally, as the population grew around the world, we're struggling with how do we balance nature and taking care of our people. And again, this is another reason that a national development plan, an updated national development plan, is needed, because we can argue all day long about one floor or two floors. We can argue about fast food restaurants versus local restaurants. We can argue about these little things, but we have to address things holistically, and we have to look at it. Do we, in the old days when we were building 1-story and 2-story buildings, you wanted them to be broader, mm-hmm. spread them out across the property, taking up much more. Whereas in today's world, the new world, it's smaller buildings but taller buildings with more green space on the roof, everywhere that you can mm-hmm. find to put green space. So these are the sorts of things that we do have to look at. But it's certainly the loss of mangroves. You would be silly to say that it doesn't have effect on some of the rainfall and precipitation.
Because we had always been told that the mangroves, was one of our assets that helped to attract the rainfall to a certain extent. We'd always been told that, and we have seen a massive depletion, of our mangroves. Most of it man-made, some mm-hmm. due to natural disasters as well. Yeah, pollution
as well. So it's all man-made at some point.
Yep. Okay, gentlemen, back over to you. The mic is yours.
No, so I don't know. See, we it is interesting when we discuss coming on the show. We discuss beforehand what do we want to talk about and what is there to talk about, and as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot going on, and we can talk about the same issues over and over and over again, and again I want to go back to a cry that we were making, a year and a half, 2 years ago, was, where is the government? We want to hear from the government. How are we addressing cost of living? We've heard a lot more. We've had an educational process launched on National Roads Authority about the East-West arterials, environmental impact assessment. Can we get an update on that? Where do we see the future as far as dealing with congestion? Congratulations to the hardworking NRA crew and the ministry for continuing the works on the Linford Pearson Highway. Unfortunately, we had a terrible accident there, but those guys are out there every day risking their lives, and I take the opportunity to ask people to be careful when they're driving there. Respect those who are out there working to try and make your life better. Take your time, take a few minutes. They say you can't make cake without a few broken eggs, so we're going to have to put up with some of the diversions that, in the meantime, while they continue to try and expand those lanes. But at the end of the day, we still need a solution for the Hurlers roundabout, and we do need that road, some relief from the Eastern District. And I think, the public out there wants to hear about that. And then, as I mentioned, cost of living, what are we going to do As we enter into the summer, the heat is here already. We're in the 90s already with a heat index that feels like 105, 107, even higher. Utility bills are going to go up. We are still facing uncertainty on our fuel costs because of the volatile situation in the Middle East. Are there plans? Do the government have plans to offer some level of relief to our people? And we're working on some private member motions for the upcoming sitting in the House to try and provide some of those solutions without having, and I have to preface this because a lot of people will say, how do we do this, do that? But we just got the first quarter report, so we can see where we are financially. They're above budget, but of course this is, the first quarter of the year, you're always heavy on the financial services side because of the fees, etc. But we also see where spending within core government has gone up tremendously as well. And we see a lot of money has been moved around, primarily, it says, the report for education and social programs. But, you're obviously ahead of the ball in your budget. What are your plans to help relieve some of the pressures on our folks coming up here in this summer? Kids are going to be at home from school. They're going to be eating more at home. They're going to be using utilities at home. It's going to be hotter. Elderly people have to have air conditioning. What are we going to do to help those persons, in particular through this summer? We need an overarching plan on how to deal with cost of living across the board. But in the interim, and I understand they have 11 months left, but in the interim, what are you going to do to help our people get through this summer as they battle the continued cost of living increases, including now a higher level of consumption on utilities? And where is the minimum wage report? Where is that? Are we going to move forward with that? I think a lot of people are looking forward to hearing what is going to happen. I think I was listening to you this morning talking about the Compass article, but all of these things are intertwined. Yeah. All of these things are intertwined. How can someone save money? Do they have to buy a car? Do they have to take out a mortgage and get a car? Do they have to buy gas? Yes, because our public transportation is still lacking. It is still lacking. You see, I saw a bus, and it's during the peak hours. I understand that some of the routes are not properly covered, but I was coming down from agriculture yesterday, and I saw a bus stop, and I didn't see no one inside, but when the people took off running to get into the bus, it was unbelievable. I was like, I've never seen this before. Like you see the videos in developed countries such as India and China and other places when a bus pulls up, a mass crowd of people run to it, and that's what I witnessed yesterday for the first time here in Cayman. And all of those persons are going to get fed up and are going to go out there and find money to buy an old car and put on the road, take the risk of driving it unlicensed, all of these things, because they're forced into a situation to do that. Because we are dragging our feet. We have had a report from EY that got shelved. We brought in experts from the UK that we haven't heard a word from, and now the ministry is in Bermuda. And I said it from when the public transport was with the Honourable Minister Kenneth Bryan when he went to Barbados. We can't copy anyone's plan. We need a plan that works for Cayman. Even the topography of Bermuda is completely different. Yeah. Completely different from us. So we need a plan that works for Cayman. And just some little things like putting GPS as an app on the buses that people can see where the bus is. You have a situation where people are fighting between, everybody goes to Eastern Avenue in Georgetown to catch a bus because that's where the most buses go through. But if they had an app and they're on Borden Road or they're in Rock Hole or they're in the center of town and they see that there's buses moving along North Church Street, they will walk that direction and go catch the buses there. These little things help, including people that are down in roads in Newlands and down in the back of West Bay. They could actually select the bus, let the bus know that they need a ride, let the bus come down and pick them up 2 or 3 miles down the road and come back up. So you turn the buses into like a Uber style thing where you stay on your route, but the side roads and stuff are on demand. right? And also people can see if it's a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk out in this weather that we just talked about, 90-something degrees weather, feels like 120 degrees. You don't want to go and stand out there hoping that a bus comes, but if you have an app and you see that a bus is on its way, you make your way, it's 10 minutes away, you make your way out, then you don't have to wait too long until the bus arrives.
Yeah.
Even if you can't tell it that you're there, at least you can see where it is to go and try and catch it.
So true, so true. Let's take that commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Sheridan Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tangs, both locations: stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers. New service now available at Funky Tangs, computer and cell phone repairs. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Now available at Funky Tangs. LG Mini Split Inverter Air Conditioners, indoor and outdoor 19-SEER units. Regular price, 598.95 CI. Now reduced to 549 CI.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Welcome to the heart of Cayman's art scene, where creativity thrives and community gathers. Join us Friday, May 24th for a spectacular evening at Art in the City in partnership with Cayman Art Week Central. Enjoy happy hour from 5 to 7 p.m. and free bus tours from 6 to 10 p.m. Explore galleries and pop-up exhibitions, meet artists, immerse yourself in diverse artworks, and make memories. Art lover or enthusiast, there's something for everyone, and it's all free. Let's celebrate creativity and community together at Art in the City. Visit CaymanArtWeek.com for details.
with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition and his deputy. One of our listeners wanted to know whether or not, wanted to know your position on the minimum wage amount and whether the opposition supports the amount of $8.75 per hour. Coupled with that, we have another comment from another listener says, a big problem with the cost of living. When government makes certain items duty-free, it's never passed on to the consumers. And government never checks to see whether or not it has been passed on. It only makes the merchants richer. For certain, that's a big problem in the BRAC. They say that's a problem there. So one question in relation to the wage increase, the minimum wage increases, and the other one in relation to monitoring when items are the duties taken off items and to ensure that reduction is passed on to the consumer.
Yeah. Well, I'll take the first part of the question, OC. We have discussed the minimum wage report at great length.
Okay.
We can see the tremendous amount of work and thoughtful consideration that went into that report in terms of coming up with a recommendation of the $8.75 per hour for as a minimum wage in the country. And consensus amongst the progressives opposition is that we support it. And we'd like to see it happen. There are other things in the recommendations that it called for with terms of a lower wage for students, that sort of stuff, and a phasing out of the 25% discount that people who are earning tips and stuff like that would get done. I mean, broadly, we think it's time for us to get beyond these things. I think as a country, I recognize that it will have inflationary effects. It does have some negative effects, but it's not all negative. It is very positive in terms of putting more money in the hands of people and raising them above what is, a wide discrepancy now between what they're earning in terms of where the minimum wage is and what the poverty level is. Mm-hmm. So it's something that we can't shirk our responsibility from it. And I'm fear that is what, government is doing. They don't want to face it head on and make the decisions. And the longer they leave it, you realize it's not going to happen before an election. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. And, what in the world did they go back out for a second time to consult for? We paid for the committee to do it. They major consultation on their part, major presentations to the populace, with regard to the report and the recommendations of it. What are we consulting on? And they say they got some email responses to what they were consulting. I don't know what that was hoping to accomplish. I mean, we do have the report, and I think it needs someone with strength and fortitude to get up and to say, what is the government going to do with it now? It's with years beyond what the law requires in terms of revisiting the whole issue of the minimum wage. And it's time for us, I think, to get it done and finished, and let's move beyond it now.
Okay, and the question on duty-free items, and what I'll add something to that as well. In addition to this question, my question would be: do we need to review the list of items that are now duty-free to see whether or not we can refine that some more to offer, more relief to the consumer as well? Yeah.
I think you can always review it, OC, but I can tell you that there are very few essentials. It is pretty broad what is duty-free right now. Unfortunately, some of the items that are major consumables as far as food stuff for our people, and I say unfortunately, is processed food. And anything processed is still attracts a duty. I think baby formula, the duty was removed from that, and the reason that attracted a duty was because it was processed. Now, the reason I believe, and the reason I use the word unfortunately, is because the processed foods are considered the less healthier foods, and the non-processed foods are what you want to encourage our population to eat to deal with things such as diabetes, etc. But I do know that over the years, more and more items, we've reviewed it, everything from feminine hygiene products to products that were not popular years ago when the structures such as adult underwear and that sort of stuff for our aging, all of those things, we've reviewed it a few times, and those have all become duty free. The next place to look after that, OC, is the import duties and the costs surrounding shipping and imports, and we've seen increases unannounced. I think it was a year ago, some port increased charges. And I can tell you why they had to do that, and that was because of, whilst we enjoyed an increased number of import duties, immediately post-COVID and pre-COVID, we have now seen that tapered off, and then we had a reduced number of cruise passengers. So therefore, the Port Authority needed to increase rates to be able to keep up with their expenses. When we took office in 2013, they had proposed to us to increase rates drastically because the numbers were being heavily subsidized. I think their entire insurance was being paid by core government at the time. But with an increase in development, they saw an increase in import duties, and with an increase in cruise numbers, they saw the head tax there. They were able to quite quickly break even, and then they were starting to become profitable in that. So those are the areas left that we would need to see some reductions in order to make any meaningful, even if you're importing the stuff yourself, or for those who are importing to resell. And I think where we are now, you notice a lot of persons, the mom and pop grocery stores and stuff are becoming quite popular. Some of that has to do with packaging, but also they're willing to take smaller margins, and they're willing to pass on any savings that they get. So as I think competition plays a huge role outside of price control, and price control is very difficult to do.
Yes.
Because my shipping costs may not be your shipping costs, and where I buy from overseas are not the same. But I think the competition is there where people are now finding that, and unfortunately, yes, you may have to shop at 3 different stores on a Saturday, because the prices on meats in this one is so much lower than the other, and the price on your paper products is so much lower than the other, and you do have to do some shopping around. So, I think those, when you talk about the cost of goods on inflation, there's a few things in the article you were talking about this morning, and in the first quarter reports and the consumer indexes show that our increases in cost of living have been healthcare, utilities, and housing, and education.
Education was one.
Right? And there is need for classroom spaces even within our own public schools. There's need for more classroom spaces, and I think the government could do a better job of incentivizing the private sector to open schools and to expand their schools, because we are all in this together. And then the fuel duty on utilities is another area we can look at. Housing. I sound like a stuck record on housing. Government cannot do it alone. They cannot. If they're being very ambitious, this particular government, this minister is very ambitious and proud to say he's building 160 homes through the NHDT. Congratulations. It is a huge feat to do, right? But when you have a waiting list of over 700, that's not going to cut it, right? That's a great achievement, but it's not going to cut it when you have it. You have to think outside of the box. We have to incentivize local developers to build homes in the category that we need them built. And it's a wide category. It's not just for affordable housing. I call it achievable housing. It's housing for Caymanians, in particular first-time Caymanian homeowners.
Okay, we have reached the top of the hour of the headline news. When we return, I'm going to give you a story. I had a young lady on the Business Buzz talking about feminine hygiene products, and she was one of the persons who prompted the government to remove the duty on those something like feminine hygiene products, things that people don't have any control, over, and they should. It's not a luxury, and yet we're placing the burden, on them as well. Folks, top of the hour headline news for the record will continue after headline news, so please stay tuned.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Cayman's Minister for Tourism attends the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Marketplace, as well as participating in a panel discussion. He provided updates about Cayman's tourism industry and shared his thoughts and insights about the tourism industry's growth and development from a regional perspective in his capacity as chairman of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. A tornado killed multiple people in a small Iowa town as powerful storms swept through the Midwest. Homes and businesses in Greenville were destroyed, cars smashed, and debris strewn across the landscape. Iowa police confirmed the fatalities at a news briefing Tuesday night, but weren't able to say how many. Nebraska, Illinois, and Wisconsin were also hit by tornadoes, heavy rain, and power cuts. At least 39 flamingos have been killed after an aircraft hit them in the western Indian city of Mumbai, sparking concerns among environmentalists. The Emirates flight, which had more than 300 passengers, made a safe landing on Monday night after the incident. Officials say it's not clear yet whether the birds deviated from their normal route to come into the flight's path. The incident has sparked anger, with environmentalists blaming excessive construction for the tragedy. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
HSA's Urgent Care Clinic is now open 7 days per week to serve you better. Visit our dedicated team at Urgent Care, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and weekends and public holidays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. No appointment necessary. If you are experiencing non-life-threatening symptoms and conditions, such as the cold and flu, sprains and cuts, earaches, nausea and vomiting, visit Urgent Care's walk-in clinic at the main entrance of the Georgetown Hospital, now open every day. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, his deputy and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joe Hugh. Gentlemen, I don't believe that there's any leakage in the mics here while we are off air or anything, but I know earlier we were talking about this, so Mr. Hugh, and this was off air, so you get an opportunity. Now this person says, good point by MP Hugh. But my question is, why didn't they do something about public transport in the 3 terms they had in office? And we were talking about that off air. Says they go on to say this current government hasn't even had a full term yet. You expect them to do in 3 years what you couldn't do in 12 years. I'd like to hear your view on it, please.
Well, thank you. We were only in power for 2 terms. And I was a minister for 4 years out of those 8 years that we were there, and unfortunately we had COVID for 2 of those. So just to make that distinction. But to answer the writer to that message, I personally have been a huge advocate for public transportation to become almost a ministry of its own, or transportation. For many, many, many years, it fell in the Ministry of Tourism, Ports and Transportation, with a massive budget covering the Georgetown Port, cargo port, cruise port, and the airport. And somewhere down there, one little line was public transport. And it's a government it's a department, really. Public transport unit is a department. It's not even a company. Now, unfortunately, it's moved to an even bigger ministry with works, planning, NRA, DVES, DVDL, agriculture. Again, I'm concerned that it may get lost in there. I embarked on looking for opportunities to better the service we have immediately. An app was installed we started it during our term, where you can actually check the rates. You can go on, the app is still there. I've been informed that they are now moving forward with the second phase of the app, which COVID shut us down, where you can actually now track the buses.
Okay.
But we did the app. CIG Go was the name of the app we launched. And it told you the prices of the taxis and everything to get from here to there. And I think they're including the buses now to put the GPS in the buses. The GPSs are being put in the taxis, that you can turn it into an Uber style thing. But the back end of it, if you want to call it, and the app was launched with the rates and stuff to be built onto it. I understand that they're finally going forward with that. We also identified the several areas to establish what we wanted to call an express bus route. And the idea was, in some of the lanes that we had planned that are now being developed, would be bus lanes and carpooling lanes. And what you would be able to do is to move from West Bay Fire Station, for instance, in a bus that made maybe one stop at Governor's Square and then into town. And then you would have, and in all of these areas, there was the ability, there's government land there, and we wanted to put in a well-secured, lit environment, covered environment, that no matter if it's, as we are experiencing now, high temperatures, high humidity, or whether it's raining, which we're hoping for now, either way, you could go there and shelter, get into the bus, dry, clean, ready to go to work. We identified properties in Prospect by the FIFA Field of Dreams. We identified property in Frank Sound. There's property in Bodden Town by the police station, property in Frank Sound behind the fire station, where we would be able to put in these bus depots. And then you have the larger buses running. So if you are coming from Frank Sound, you can get a east end, north side, you get a ride out to Frank Sound. You could take the omnibus, the small buses out there, or drive your car or ride your bicycle and lock it up safely there. CCTV cameras well lit. And then you can take the bus that runs on a schedule every 20 minutes or whatever. And it makes, if you start in Frank Sound, you would stop in Bodden Town, Prospect, and then you're in Georgetown. We had started the hop on, hop off, because what we were told when we did the town hall meetings on public transport, a lot of the elderly don't want to drive with the roundabouts, etc.
And that number is increasing now.
Right.
And it's not restricted to the elderly anymore. It's just, so much madness that is going on.
I do hope the listeners listening, because I'm going to give a comprehensive answer now. They said to us, I remember one gentleman in particular, he said, I love to take the bus. He said, I have 3 cars, but I love to take the bus because I talk to the people on the bus and da-da-da-da. So, but when I get to town and I have to go to the bank on Elgin Avenue or Credit Union, and then I have to go to Digicel in town, You know, and then by the time I do my first trip across town in the 90-something degree weather, I'm done for the day. So we put in the hop on, hop off, that when you get into town on the buses, you're then able to move around town comfortably. Every modern city in the world have some level of hop on, hop off. Embarrassingly, Cricket Square has it. Embarrassingly, Camana Bay has it. The only place that don't have it is Georgetown. The only little town that don't have it is Georgetown, right? So even the private developers see the benefits of it, but we cut it. We had it and we killed it, right? I rode that several times. People would use it to go to the hospital to get their medication, then get back on it and go to Foster's, pick up their little groceries, then get back on it and come back to town. Then they can catch their bus anywhere. It got so popular that the buses started making Foster's at the airport a stop, because people would leave their jobs, take the hop on, hop off to Foster's or Kirk's, in fact, because we went to both, and then the district buses would stop there and pick up people. So they didn't have to take the hop on, hop off back to town. But that was the whole idea, and we ran that trial. And then we were using buses that would normally be used for cruise tourism as a trial. And we had identified several smaller electrical or EV-assisted, electrical assisted vehicles that would replace those. But even now, with cruise tourism numbers not back to where they are, I am certain that there are persons out there that if we put out an RFP to do these outer districts into town bus services with a couple of stops, that they would be signing up for it. But it has to be a structured system. People have to be able to, what do you need for proper public transportation? Reliability and comfort. That's it. Reliability and comfort. And even furthermore, the thoughts were that we would also develop a card that you could top up at any gas station or anything, that you don't have to carry cash. So if you know, for those who struggle with budgeting, etc., if they know that they need $15 a week to get to and from work on the bus, they could go to the gas station on Friday, put the $15 on their card, and then they tap that card as they get on and off the bus, and that's their bus fare for the week. Right? So there was a lot of things in motion, a lot that we had ready to roll out that we were looking at. And I think we've, again, encouraging that we've had EY studies and we've had experts come in from the UK, but discouraging that we haven't heard any real solutions up to this point. So that that is as comprehensive as an answer. And it is one of my regrets that and it wasn't even my ministry.
Okay.
It didn't fall under my ministry. I just took it on as a personal thing and offered my help to the Ministry of Tourism and Transport, because it's a huge ministry, you know, and it's constantly evolving. And the ports, the airport, tourism, and so we worked together. It was a joint ministerial effort between ourselves and the Ministry of Tourism to try and roll out some of these products.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier in the discussion the fact that the advisors that we have from the UK...
Oh, by the way, we also, the app for the hop on, hop off in Georgetown is still up.
Still up? Okay.
It's still up.
But no nothing
buses.
To hop on to hop off.
So we launched two apps, the CIG Go, which is the taxi rates, etc. And the next phase that we were working on, which should have been done, I don't know why, but was to have it that you can actually see them real time. And then which, by the way, when they do that with the public buses as well, that way they'll be able to control whether buses are staying on their routes or not, because you geofence the route, right? And then, so we launched that app, and then we also launched the Hop On, Hop Off app, which was live. So I remember I broke my leg, broke my ankle, and I was getting physio done on Smith Road. And I was so happy that a white-collar worker, right, a physiotherapist, was like, oh, my bus is coming, right? And they were using the Hop On, Hop Off app to go into town for lunch. That's one less car driving through, traffic-wise. So anyway, no sense in living backwards or going backwards.
One minor point with it. I mean, that whole Hop On, Hop Off bus service would be so easy to reinstate. and would give so much relief, I think, to people and help with the congestion. It's a no-brainer, and
more so now with the revitalization in the Georgetown area, where you have less area to drive now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and less and no parking, because one of the first phases of the Georgetown revitalization, I was in Miami a couple of weeks ago on business, and again, it was just looking and talking to persons there about how all of the Wynwood area and all these areas that have the art district that have been revived in Miami started with a parking garage. That's what the city built first, was a parking garage. And that was supposed to be one of the first phases, was an RFP for parking garages in Georgetown that could serve as bus depots, as well as hop on, hop off, as well as public parking. So, all of that was part of the master plan for Georgetown revitalization and to enhance public transport and movability around the town, which is key.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. The conversation with the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, his Deputy and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh, will continue after this short commercial break.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Introducing the new Shoreline iMap. Discover over 300 plus public shoreline access points in the Cayman Islands by using a new digital interactive map of all the public access pathways and beaches. Test out the new Shoreline iMap today and get walking or driving directions, see 360-degree street views, and find out what amenities are available at any shoreline access point found on the iMap. Dive into a world of coastal beauty and adventure. Use the Shoreline iMap today by visiting gov.ky/shoreline. Presented by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition and his deputy. One of our listeners wanted to know whether or not the minimum wage being suggested, whether or not it's in CI or in US. Another person wanted you to delve a little deeper into the cost of living and some of the suggestions that you may have in terms of solutions to address the cost of living. But before we address either one of those, we mentioned earlier in the discussion that the advisors that the Ministry of Transport they have engaged. I think they were seconded over from the UK Public Transport.
Well, yeah, but the public transport, when it was under Ministry of Tourism with the Honourable Kenneth Bryan, they hired Deloitte, and I said EY. To do a public transport report, which was then provided to the current ministry. And that was a report that I was referring to, and it was done by Deloitte. So my apologies, EY. Sure. We talked so much over the years about the EY report on salaries across the government and public sector. Public sector, that I got those mixed up. So I apologize. Because I know that the folks at Deloitte took it on personally. They rode on the buses across the island. They really did quite a bit of work on it, and it's unfortunate we haven't seen that or seen any results from that as well.
So this current iteration, of consultants, they have gone to look at the public transport system in Bermuda. And I think one of the things that is going to be staring them starkly is going to be the fact that in Bermuda, the ownership of cars, there's a completely different policy. So you're dealing with persons who are using scooters as opposed to cars. We see every Tom, Dick, Jane, and Harry these days has the ability to own a vehicle in the Cayman Islands because it is so cheap. The challenge for Cayman, and this is why I don't believe any comparison with Bermuda is going to be helpful in any way, is that how do we wean those persons who are accustomed to their four-wheel vehicle, their comfort, sitting in their cars themselves, blasting their radio. How do we wean them to get and to use the public system that we would want to put in place?
Yeah, well, going back to Bermuda, I think, there's nothing wrong with looking at what others have to offer. I don't know if it required a full-blown visit. And I don't know whether the ministry has taken anybody from the public transport unit. I didn't see any mention of the public transport unit personnel along on the visit. However, Bermuda also relies heavily on a ferry service in a sheltered harbor. Unfortunately, our town, if you got even ferried, they tried a ferry. They launched a ferry service from Newlands to Georgetown. But when you get dropped off at perhaps Commander Bay might be useful, but when you get dropped off at Georgetown Yacht Club, then you got to find your way into town. Again, that would have to be combined with some sort of easy hop-on, hop-off system, and it can't be too costly. You can't pay $5 for the ferry and then have to pay another $3. That's $8 each way. So we have to take all of those things into consideration. To answer your question, is safety, comfort, and affordability. And as the cost of car insurance goes up, as the cost of fuel goes up, and if you're sitting in traffic burning more fuel than usual, then if you have an ability to get from Eastern Districts, West Bay, into town comfortably, on time, and costing you less than it takes a wear and tear and the cost of fuel on your vehicle, that's the way that you do it.
Okay. And Osilaga, pick your brains and your memory.
Sure.
Didn't we at one point have a very short-lived ferry service between West Bay and Georgetown?
Yes. At one point,
It didn't last very long.
Didn't last.
Well, the issue with that is it's not reliable because of seasonal weather.
And there's still one that exists from Rum Point, in the Rum Point area. I was talking to one of my cycling buddies the other day, and I'll call his name. I give him a big shout out, John Ferguson. He's preparing for there's a RAGBRAI. It is those are the acronyms. There's a ride across Iowa. And it's like a 3 or 4 day event, and you basically camp out and you ride a certain distance. So he's preparing for that, and crossed him on Sunday in North Side, and he got to over to the Kaibo area and or Rum Point, and it was really, really hot and everything else. So he put the bike on the ferry and took it across back over to Cayman Bay. So that option is there still. So some limited amount of fare service may be advantageous to some persons as well. And any suggestions on how do we address the cost of living in the Cayman Islands? I mean, that's so wide because there's, you mentioned before, where those costs are, in terms of housing, healthcare, education, there's so many facets of it.
Well,
and you don't solve it simply by necessarily increasing the wages. That's
that's just one part of it.
Yes.
And that's going to be inflationary as well.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and because that should have been happening along. If wages keep pace with inflation, or minimum wage keeps pace with inflation, then it's a gradual impact on the companies.
Mm-hmm.
But whether you like it or not, if a company is going to be going from paying $6 an hour to $8.75 an hour, it's going to have a major impact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take, government is going to be one of the biggest hit.
And that is in CI, not US.
And that is in CI.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be one of the biggest hits because of their janitorial contracts, their security contracts, landscaping contracts, all of those contracts the government has across the board. They're going to have to redo every single one of those contracts, rebid them. Because the company cannot possibly survive after paying $6 an hour, if lucky, to going up to $8.75 an hour when everybody competes for the government contracts. And so they're winning these contracts. And government, I spoke about it in the PAC meeting, on all of those sorts of contracts, government goes for the most affordable. You get the most points for price. So everybody's at bare minimums already.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have issues in the schools where there's not enough toilet paper, not enough hand towel and stuff, because when somebody bids that project, they say 1 roll a day in each one, and X gallons of soap, because it is that tight. It is that tight because you get 60 points for cost.
Okay.
Right? So the government itself has to look in the mirror when we talk about minimum wage and slave labor and that sort of stuff. So, but they're going to have to take months to rebid all of these or sit down and renegotiate contracts with these persons. But that's a whole other story. I'll touch a little bit on cost of living. I did delve in quite a bit to fuel duties and stuff. If we want to go deeper in that, it's now that OFREG now that they have an updated renewables plan. I've lost the name of it now. OFREG needs to make it a priority to provide and process bids for wholesale solar or renewable energies, whatever it is. That has to happen as a matter. That is a long-term way to bring down the cost of utilities, or at least at a minimum, stabilize the cost of utilities. Where in fuel you have those ups and downs, and it seems to be more ups than downs these days. So that's on the fuel. All the other things, import duties we talked about, there's not much to cut, but maybe you have to look at port costs and transportation costs. Housing is simply a matter of supply and demand. And I spoke about that. I brought a motion to Parliament in November last year. It was a motion that caused quite an uproar with the then Premier and his government on incentivizing private sector to partner with government to provide affordable and achievable housing. And this included everything from shared housing with government, where private sector is given concessions and government receives properties, apartments, homes, whatever the case may be, and Caymanians who qualify can buy 30%, buy into the house, 30% partnership with the government. Each year they can continue to buy more. If they are ready to sell, and move on because they have developed some equity, they have to sell it at the same discount to another person in the program or back to the government.
Okay.
So if you got it at 50% discount, so if you got a $400,000 apartment at $200,000, you live there and you buy, you're able to sell it. The market value realizes you an extra $400,000. You would sell it back to the program and receive that $200,000.
Okay.
Right? And or at some point you can buy it right out from the government. So there's that. There is the same thing where concessions, or they work with developers to provide housing that goes into the NHDT. The National Housing Development Trust shouldn't just be about building houses. It should be dealing with rental homes. It should be dealing with coordinating housing opportunities for Caymanians across the board. And so you can do things where, again, opportunities arise where a developer is incentivized to build in a certain category. The government receives X amount of apartments at cost from that person, and then resells them to Caymanians at the discount cost again. And the key to all of these things is to try and keep them in the program and make a lot of them an opportunity for someone to start starter homes, and then they can move on, and the house stays in the program until it is depreciated, then they can sell it off. Right? So I gave about 5 examples, including government guaranteed on mortgages scheme, not just on build on your own property, but on mortgage schemes. Government grants up to a certain amount to cover your deposit, right, which you pay back at the end of your mortgage.
Okay.
Right, so it was about 5 different solutions we provided in the private members' motion back in November. And we ran a cross-ministerial project headed up by a gentleman named Matthew Hilton in the Deputy Governor's Office. A tremendous amount of work was done just prior to COVID. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, because he did quite a good job. He was seconded then to oversee some of the travel Cayman responsibilities. And then I was reliably informed that once that was done, he was able to go back, or was willing to go back and complete this report, which he put a lot of work in. We were working with NAU, working with Children and Family Services, working with all the private sector, utility companies, planning, public sector, dozens of roundtable discussions on how we can incentivize. One of the bigger ones that I brought in November, which was part of this project, was to incentivize Caymanian landowners that owned the land but didn't have the ability to develop it, and incentivize them by offering them. For instance, we had ascertained what was the 10-year needs for NAU for housing, which included a halfway house for persons coming out of the parental, I can never remember the name of that program, where they're placed with
Young Parents Program?
No, where they're placed with a family until they're 18.
Foster care.
The foster care. And when they come out of that foster care, they need a midway house, a semi-supervised place where there's cameras and safety things, and somebody checks in on them in the morning. All of that was included. And what we would do is we'd incentivize Caymanian landowners by providing 10-year guaranteed lease, for instance. If you can build 5 apartments, we give you concessions, we get planning to expedite it, we get even help with architecture, and we give you, out of your 5 apartments, we'll give you a 10-year guaranteed lease for 2 of those. So, and that goes into NAU, and the other 3 you participate in the open market. So I just throw those numbers out there roughly, but it gets at Caymanian comfortably across the board that they can develop their property and enjoy the rewards while providing housing for our social needs.
Yes. Okay, we're going to take that commercial break, Ms. Susan. Sorry about that, but didn't want to break the train of thought there, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com. Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shannon Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tangs, both locations: stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers. New service now available at Funky Tangs, computer and cell phone repairs. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Now available at Funky Tangs. LG Mini Split Inverter Air Conditioners, indoor and outdoor 19-SEER units. Regular price, 598.95 CI. Now reduced to 549 CI.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, Deputy Leader and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. He has stepped out of the studio for a second, so we're here now with the Leader of the Opposition. Anything in particular you want to talk about, Mr. Leader?
I just wanted to mention one of my bit of a pet peeve here to OC, because there's nothing happening as far as I can see and understand with regard to this, and that is the mental health facility. I mean, my goodness, that thing was almost finished in 2021 when we demitted office, and at the moment it still has not been, to my knowledge, it has not been handed over to the ministry. They have seemed to have hired a director and an HR person, but no word on the recruitment efforts to staff it up and get the facility open. And so, it's a facility that's ended up costing us over $20 million. And they have a budget for 47 employees to be hired this year, 2024, and then another 15 in 2025. So 60-odd persons really to run this facility for, what is it, 6, I think it's like 54 beds that they will have at the facility. It's probably even more than that. But meantime, the facility is just sitting there, and grass and weeds growing around it, nothing really moving. Why can't the government, why can't the Ministry of Health, and why can't the minister get this facility open? In the meantime, we continue to house people with mental health. The worst case is overseas, in overseas facilities. My understanding, it's costing government a shed load of money every year to do so. And we have a crying need for the facility here as well, because of so many locals that we have that are in need of some place like that. The mental health ward at the hospital, my understanding is that is full 100% of the time. I think they have like 8 beds at that facility. So it just doesn't seem to me like that project and that facility is receiving the attention and the importance, given the importance that it needs.
Can we anticipate a PQ, on that?
We certainly, absolutely. All of these things that we've been discussing are things that we intend to probe with our ministers when we get into the House on the 24th, of course.
Just last week, sorry, Mr. Leader, just last week I ran into a gentleman and I inquired about his son who has some mental health issues, and it was affecting his business and stuff because he had to carry the young man around with him everywhere he went. And the gentleman was just about in tears and telling me that they found that finally he's been accepted to an institution, I think in Michigan or somewhere like that. And whilst initial thoughts were, well, that's good for him, I'm losing my son. Not to somewhere that he can jump on the plane or jump in a car and go visit immediately, but somewhere that's going to take cost and time to go and visit. So, and he's, again, obviously, they were holding on and looking forward to some local help, and that just isn't there.
Yeah. Last thing that I heard, and that had something to do still with the contractor and possibly the electrical and something else?
They failed an inspection, yeah. Because, it is my understanding that until they had a team in place, I don't think anyone would take responsibility in receiving the building facilities from the contractors. When they finally got staff in place to actually receive it, then they failed some planning and inspections.
Okay. Let's take the last commercial break now so that we can go right straight through until 10 o'clock. Ms. Susan, coming to you. We're going to take our last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center.
If you're a parent, you know that providing your child with a quality early childhood education can be expensive. However, the Ministry of Education offers financial assistance through its Early Childhood Assistance Program to help qualifying Caymanian families cover the costs at registered early childhood settings. Visit our online application portal at moeapplications.gov.ky to learn more and get started. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities is proud to invite members of the public to visit their new website. With this modern, user-friendly design, the site offers accessibility features as well as information and resources for everyone, including persons with disabilities, caregivers, and those with long-term health conditions. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has been striving to bring accessibility and inclusivity to all residents of the Cayman Islands since 2017. Find out more. Visit www.disabilitycouncil.gov.ky.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning, about 12 minutes left in the show with the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, his Deputy and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. Gentlemen, the mic is over to you.
I'm going to let Joey take this next segment.
Okay.
His favourite topic.
We seem to be hitting on a lot of my favourite topics this morning, but one that we can't not speak about, in particular myself being the representative for Georgetown North, is regen, the landfill. I think on one of the previous shows, OC, you would remember, I said that I would give the new minister an opportunity and some time. And in the beginning, there was a lot of information coming out, but it has gone absolutely quiet at the moment. My feelings are, and all indications I got, that they're just going to kick this can down the road until after the election. And that is very, very unfortunate. Yeah. Without knowing their reasons, my first thought is that that's very unfortunate, that we will not have any form of contract signed until after the elections. I don't know if they have locked in, if they have agreed with the preferred bidder to lock in certain values, but you don't know what the difference in costs. We can see and we know what the difference in costs between 2021 and now, but we don't know what the difference in costs will be between now and a year from now again when we go back into negotiations, should the government decide to just kick this can down the road for another term. So we saw last week a fire I don't think that's the last one we're going to see, and thankfully they got it under control quickly. And props to the DEH staff and the fire service. I know the fire service often keeps a truck there, but they've also trained the DEH staff how to deal with the fires when they first start. So thankfully for them, on behalf of my constituents, from Webb Road to Washington Boulevard to Watlers Road, Parkway, Marbell Drive, all the way down to Camana Bay, who suffers from the smoke. When we have these fires and the fear of losing our properties, I want to offer them our gratitude in their swift action in dealing with the fire. We all fear. It's on the top of our minds all the time. You get up in the morning, you smell something, you look to see is there smoke coming from the landfill, because it's going to change your day. It's going to change your day. So it's unfortunate, OC, and I would like to hear, and obviously, as you know, you can probably imagine there will be a parliamentary question coming up on it, because we haven't heard anything recently. And unfortunately, rumors are starting to spread, and this is not the way we want to handle such a national issue and such an important issue. And we look at population growth, whether we can control it or not, but the fact remains that it has happened. And I have to believe that the projections on the lifespan of the current landfill has had to change. It has had to change. Tourism is back on the rise again, possibly not at the level stay-over tourism that we want to see it, but it's rising again. One new hotel just opened. 2 more are under construction. All of these are consumers within the next 2 years that will be going into that landfill. And if we're 5 years away, if we sign the contract today from the integrated waste management facility, solid waste management facility, I don't, my concerns are, what are we going to do?
Yeah. One of the concerns I have, really, because you see it every day, and that is that mound on the western end of it that comes up by the Esla-Tibbetts Highway, just how quickly that has grown. So I know the amount of garbage that is going into the landfill must be well over what the estimates and projections were for, even as short as 5 years ago.
It has to be.
And I mean, it's just, it's crazy. I mean, I worry, because what I see is that potentially you are out of landfill space, and then you are without having a waste-to-energy plant in place, no solution in place. And, I hate to say it or even raise it, but I mean, are we heading into a situation where we're going to have an engineered landfill site? And even that takes several years to put together. So where are we going? And the silence to me from the government is just, it's deafening and it's unacceptable. And I'm hearing that, like Deputy here said, we're hearing that that they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it in this term. So, despite the promises that were made by the new minister that they were committed to getting it done, it doesn't appear as if it's going to be happening. And I can't help but feel that a big part of it potentially is the cost of it. I think it's going to have a. And we know that the cost has ballooned. They just don't seem to be able to get a grip on what the final cost is likely to be. So,
and then when you end up in a position where you have to do it because there's no option, then the argument is going to be, well, we have to pay whatever we have to pay because we need it. We have to.
And that amount you're going to have to pay is going to be substantially higher than what you numbers you were working with. So, it's, to me, I see it not just an environmental disaster, but financial disaster for the country. As the longer it has just been left like this to fester and not be dealt with, and you can't help but believe too. I mean, the preferred bidder, we all know it's dark. They've got to be frustrated with it that they can't get this thing over the line and get it moving. I don't know what else to say about it, but something needs to break here very quickly.
And lastly, I want
Sure. I was going to just say we haven't mentioned the Electoral Boundaries Commission report.
Boundaries Commission report. We're waiting to see what if it will come to Parliament or if it won't be at Parliament in the coming months, and what is being proposed. I truly believe that when that decision is made, that we will hear from the Premier on the opposition side to have a discussion about it, because this is bipartisan. But I wanted to touch on another subject near and dear to me. In this morning, there's an article on CNS that Plan Cayman is going out for public consultation, and it's interesting because I haven't seen it anywhere else. We never received an email, an announcement by government on it. And they're going across all 3 islands, starting on the 8th of June, I think, and going right through June and July. Each district and all 3 islands, and then a Zoom, one online meeting. But I happen to know that the Plan Cayman is a document that is the name of a document that's a framework that was developed for a review of the National Development Plan. CNS said that the only consultation that had happened with that was with developers, which is totally untrue. There were several Plan Cayman meetings we did. There were over 4,000 interactions on the website and comments. Over 400 and something comments written in. And all of that was used along with the National Tourism Plan, the Elderly People's Policy, etc., to come up with the framework for the review of the National Development Plan, and that was called Plan Cayman.
Okay.
My understanding is that the Planning Board, I've been reliably informed that the Planning Board adopted the Plan Cayman framework with a few changes. So what is interesting in this scenario is that they have not released the new framework or consulted on the new framework, but it seems like they're going out on consultation on the National Development Plan. I'm a little unclear by the article, but the article posts a schedule of meetings, but I haven't seen or heard anything from the ministry or the department on this public consultation starting on June 8th, which is very little notice, in 2 weeks' time, a week and a half time. So yeah, I guess I can I'm happy to see something is happening, but the last thing we were told was they were going to go from the 5 zones to the 9 zones. They didn't announce what those 9 zones were. Now they're doing the entire island consultation in 2 months, and I think that is a mistake. I think they need to break it out and do it 1 zone at a time so that they can focus on that zone. But there also should have been more public consultation on the framework document itself, especially highlighting the changes that they made. So just wanted to raise that here today. It's something that we've all been anticipating eagerly.
We still have 2 minutes for some closing comments as well. We can start with you, Mr. Hugh, and then let the leader have the last say.
Yes, I felt like I had a venting morning this morning, but I hope that the public took it as being some constructive discussions, and that we were able to cover those pressing needs that our people are feeling and seeing out there. We will continue to ask the questions of the government. We will continue to push the government to provide us with the information we need to properly represent our people. And again, just want to say a pleasant good morning to those who may have tuned in after this morning, and I'm wishing everyone a safe remainder.
Any birthday shout-outs? Anyone that you missed?
I don't have any birthday shout-outs this week, but thank you for that too. And yes, I am still hoping for a little bit of rain.
Yes, Mr. Leader.
Yeah, well, as Joey mentioned, OC, we continue to ask the questions, but, we are subject to the ministers and getting the questions back down to the answers back down to the House during the time that we are in there. And, unfortunately, we do have situations where questions are not being answered, and we have a number that remain outstanding from previous meetings. I give credit to the staff of Parliament, because they do send out the reminders to the ministers 2 weeks after the session. If they weren't answered during the session, they're obliged to give us a written response, and those are not always forthcoming. So it is one of the questions and criticisms I do have of the government in that it stymies the work of the opposition, because we take time to formulate these questions and ask them. We're not asking them just to be bad-minded or anyway. There are reasons why we ask these questions, and most times it is because we are being asked them of the public as well, and they do have very significant public interest in questions that we ask. So we are going to have a fair number of questions submitted to the Parliament for the June 24th meeting of when we get there, and hopefully we will get the cooperation of the government in getting them answered, and exploring the questions more deeply while we are there. Okay. And so I know I've probably gone over, so I just want to thank you two for hosting us, and wish all the people listening to us, thank you for staying here with us, and hope to see you all again not too long from now. So pleasant good morning to you all, and thanks again.
Thank you. It looks, based on the Guardian newspaper, that we may get a little reprieve from this pressure on the register of beneficial ownership. The Sunak has declined to rule out calling summer elections, and ministers have put their travel plans on hold to attend a cabinet meeting today as well. So we may be getting some news out of the UK fairly soon in terms of elections. If that takes place, then pressure may be off some. Folks, I want to thank all of you who participated this morning. Thanks for your patience and taking the time out to send in the questions via WhatsApp as well. I want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
One radio station.
Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands.